Hi, I'm Brian.
Hi, I'm Alex.
And I hate
love
The
The
Last
Last
of
of Us. Cheers.
Alright, The Last of Us. Where do I even start with this massively overrated $60 piece of garbage? So, The Last of Us follows two characters whose names I don't care about. Joel and...
Ellie.
Thank you. So, Joel is a douchebag old dude whose daughter dies during a zombie apocalypse.
Yeah.
Let's just get one thing out of the way right now. You ever seen anything that has to do with zombies?
Yep.
That's The Last of Us. It's everything that's ever had anything to do with zombies. A guy, a kid, death, sadness. Ooh, let's all care. No, fuck that. I paid $60 for this goddamn game. E3 showed this game as epic amounts of survival, ammunition's difficult to find, an in-depth crafting system, when what really happened was cover that you could look at and go, okay, so there's going to be guys with guns in this room. Or, okay, there's going to be zombies in this room. Or, even better, nothing's here, including anything that I can pick up for crafting.
Okay.
Cool. Then you meet, what's the fat guy's name? Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
He's worthless. He walks around with a shotgun. He literally, okay, this happened to me 3 separate times.
Okay.
Walk out, there's a part where you have to sneak through these 3 yards, right? Fat guy just walks out with a shotgun, blowing everything away. What are you doing? I'm crouched. You're supposed to crouch with me. You don't fire till I fire. What is this? Also, 3 separate occasions. Ellie would stand right here. We're walking, right? We're walking. Hopefully you can all see this. We're walking, blah, 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 blah.
I really hope they can see it.
Ellie's talking, and Joel's talking, and na. Then I'm going to keep going. What? Where's Ellie? Where did she go? I can hear her. I can't hear her anymore. I see subtitles for her talking.
Yeah.
Oh, she's still here. What? Well, maybe she'll... No, she's broken. Cool, I guess I'll restart my game. Okay, cool, I restarted. Now she's fine. Wait, Ellie? Oh no, again. 3 separate times that happened in 3 separate locations where Ellie just stopped following me. I could still see subtitles because she's still talking.
That's amazing.
But she's gone. This is a game that's been remastered twice. Twice.
Which version did you play, by the way?
PS4.
Okay.
Not PS4 Pro, but
Okay.
PS4.
Just curious.
So this game released once for $60.
Okay.
Got re-released, remastered again for $60. And then re-released again for $60 on the PS4 Pro. And I still had a glitch where Ellie wouldn't follow me.
That's awesome.
Then... probably, this is what made me quit when I tried this game again. I have not beaten this game because there's just so many things that I just cannot keep going. I powered through the story, which I will agree, the story is good. However, the story is also overdone in every other thing that's ever had zombies in it. But this was the last straw. Okay, I'm gonna demonstrate a thing here. So, you walk up a building, right? You climb this little thing, and you're on top of a building right here. There's it's a truck. You're on a truck. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You're on a truck. There's a gap. There's a board leaning against the building here and a platform.
Yep.
There's also a ladder here, or a dumpster. So I climb up on the dumpster, climb up on the building, then climb the ladder to the very rooftop of the building.
Okay.
I can see that I need that board that was down there to make it to the next section. Fine. I'll just climb down and pick up the board like I have every other time. Well, why can't I? It won't let me... Joel can't pick up the board. I have to jump down to the ground, pick up the board, move it to the truck, stand on the truck, pick up the board, lay it across the truck and the roof, walk over, pull the board across, lean it up, climb the roof, then pick it up again. I couldn't just climb down and pick it up. They made a puzzle by making it impossible to pick up the board in the fucking rooftop that I needed it. That's a puzzle. Uninstalled the game. That was 3 months ago when I decided to give this game another chance.
And was this your second chance?
Third.
Third, okay.
And the third chance was where I got all those glitches. The first time I barely even made it past the fat guy who kept opening fire with his shotgun.
Okay. You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. I'll give you a choice. Would you like me to do story, or would you like me to talk about glitches?
That's up to you.
Okay, well, for fun glitches, I had none of those. So I can't really comment on my game. I had PS3, so I had 0 issue with anything you said. So that didn't impact me. The game ran very smoothly. The AI was incredibly competent for me. So I had none of those problems.
And I didn't have those on the PS3 because I did play it on the PS3.
So like maybe if it's like a PS4 version, okay, yeah, maybe it's a port issue. And then also $60, yeah, probably should have been 40 minimum. Maybe it shouldn't have been 60 for that. So I'll give you that. But I didn't have those issues, so therefore didn't bother me. Story, we can take it further than zombies, though, to be honest. Like, that's a Western cliche, too. The grizzled veteran who lost their kid, he's lost inside, and, you know, finds some hope in the form of whatever, whether it's a little girl, a woman, some mission, whatever. But you know what? Every story has been told before, and it's not, if it's been told, it's how it's told. And right now, that was incredibly well executed. And that was an emotional journey for me. Like, this is, unlike some other games for me, this one kind of hit me close. So, I mean, maybe other people don't have it this way, but this was kind of the game where I looked at and I'm like, I think I want to be a parent at some point. I didn't really have that before, but this game brought it out of me. It's like kind of a weird thing to have with an AI, but I got really protective of Ellie. And I think it was a combination of... She was incredibly useful for me in gameplay to where it wasn't like Sheva syndrome where Sheva would get in the way of my fire all the time, do all the stupid healing shit, all of that. I had none of that with Ellie. Ellie would give me healing packs when I needed it or I was like in a really tough jam. Well, give me that. Thanks, Ellie, you rock. If I'm like reloading really quick and somebody's about to fuck my shit up, you know, she jumps up to try to stab someone, buys me a second or two to shoot. Ellie, you're the best. When she has like that level where you give her the gun the first time, really useful there. Incredibly useful AI. And then what also helped was, I think, the linearity of this. Like, there aren't that many... I don't know. Take this with a grain of salt. I don't know many video games. I'm a comic guy. But there's not as many linear games. It's kind of more of an open world thing from what I've been gathering. And I think this game really goes to show the power of being linear in the sense that you get to go on some of these set pieces, and while it's like sometimes obvious, hey, there's going to be a fight here or there, it was exciting for me and I had fun with it. Point of video games is to have fun after all, so that worked for me really well. But then there were also cool little moments like, okay, well, we're going to, honestly, I forget the city, but the point is that you see Ellie run off ahead of you and you're like, Ellie, what's going on? And then she's like checking out these giraffes. And you get these like optional dialogues, like you can have her pet the giraffe or even just little dialogues talking about like a stupid werewolf film that's kind of like a jab at Twilight. It's like these optional moments you don't have to take, but it felt like sincere gameplay to where you kind of get a better sense of Joel and Ellie's people, and it just felt like a really natural bond between those characters. So that interaction is what really invested me into the majority of this gameplay, on top of me just honestly having a ball with the game. Like, I didn't have any of the technical issues. If I had some of that, that would knock it down a bit for me, but like the overall package of it, I fell in love with that game, man.
That's fair. And I will say, I won't really try to knock down The Last of Us story. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's done before. But like you said, everything's done before. Yeah. Nothing's ever really going to be 100% original.
Yeah.
But if you're going to give me a great story, you also have to include fun gameplay. And what I played was Uncharted with zombies.
And I don't care about Uncharted, oddly enough, but I cared more about this, which was kind of funny.
Right. But gameplay-wise... Mm-hmm. They gave me the exact same shooting mechanics, exact same cover mechanics. Climbing felt exactly the same. Almost everything in that game felt like I'm playing Uncharted, but they took that end of Uncharted 1, which was incredible, where they had all the crazy-ass zombies come out. Yeah. Like, they took that and just made a whole game out of it. But
I like it better for some reason. Like, I played part of Uncharted 1, and that's a fun enough game, but for some reason adding zombies into it, like, the crafting mechanics of it, simplified, sure, but like it really did feel like I was trying to survive an onslaught. Like the fact that I could craft onto melee weapons was incredibly useful when I was just trying to take out a clicker. Like incredibly useful for that. Getting a shiv at the right time or like a noisemaker at the right time felt incredibly helpful. And I was on a harder difficulty, so maybe like in the lower ones, the ammo like spawns more plenty. But like I was in a lot of situations that like put Resident Evil 5 to shame in the sense that like I was so desperately low on ammo, and it was kind of actiony, but it also felt like a survival horror. And I don't know, like I had a ball with this game in the way that I could not with Uncharted. Like I know it felt similar. Like I definitely agree with you in that sense, but for some reason it fit this story better for me.
I mean, and maybe I'm just a scavenger. Like, I'm the kind of person who will see a building and go, all right, cool. I'm going to hit every single room, every single drawer, every single thing I can open. I'm going to open every single one of them.
Yeah.
Because I'm not leaving here without everything.
I kind of wanted to do that for the comic book little collectibles. Like, that was kind of cool because that was like a story. They gave me a story motive to collect the comic books because, like, Ellie's collecting these little comic books. Like, I know there weren't, like, it might have been cool if, like, maybe there was, like, a cutscene if you collected them all, like, an optional one. That'd be kind of cool. I'm not sure if... Maybe there is, since I didn't collect them all. Probably not, though, realistically. Also, to touch on something I forgot about. So, the overrated thing. So, when did you first pick it up? Was that, like, the pre-release hype? I'm just kind of curious.
Day one. I had that thing pre-ordered day one.
Okay.
I picked that game
So,
up.
I think this is kind of interesting. So, I was so far removed from all that. And, I mean, I talked with Patch a little bit about it. And he ultimately talked me into it. But that was something that, like... I just never really paid much mind to. Like, it was something that I figured maybe would be something I enjoyed, but I sort of just came to it when I felt like it. So I was pretty much removed from all of that hype. Maybe I would have a different reaction with that, to be fair. So, like, that's also a non-factor for me. Though hype, I do acknowledge, can ruin good properties for various reasons.
And really, for me, like, the crafting system, I think, would have been much... more useful if everything didn't just immediately break the second you used it. Like, you use a shiv, and cool, now I'm out of shivs, and I have to make another one because this dumb mechanic that says I have to make a new one right now because I used it once.
I sort of get that from a character perspective a little bit because Joel is not immune from the virus. So he's probably not going to be, like, getting up really close into a clicker to try and pry that shit out because, like, what if it gets in him?
Right, and I agree.
Like, Ellie, maybe if you were Ellie and you could reuse shivs, that'd be kind of a cool little character difference. For, like, the level where you got to beat her.
I think
that would be really cool because she's immune and it doesn't matter.
I think for early game, that makes sense. But I think later on, due to the epic survival experience that I was promised in the, the E3 and all that stuff, that Joel should learn, hey, if I do this with my shiv, if I just add this one extra component, I can hold on to it and not worry about getting infected by this clicker. Or something.
Yeah.
Because it's just a blade in his hand that he's stabbing into its neck.
I don't necessarily mind that as a difficulty curve. Like, I don't mind that because, like, I never felt overloaded with stuff. Like, I got a decent amount of items. I was able to come up with a fair amount of, like, I forget, like, the shivs and I forget the various things, a lot of them. But, like, it never felt like I was in a room and could just casually go through people. Like, oh, yep, zombies, I don't give a shit. Doop, 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 done. I didn't ever really have that. Like, for some reason, the enemy types, for the most part, were able to go through my ammo in such a way to where, like, it felt like a legitimate challenge. And I think part of that was because of the breakables. Now, I will also, because I did watch the Zelda thing, that is bullshit with the swords. That is total bullshit with swords. Like, I'll give you that.
But, and again, and that's a mechanic that they put in early game. Once you get further into the game, you build better items that last much longer.
And then also, mind you, like, the end of the game, which, have you seen gameplay footage of it? Okay, well, I'll tell you one part of it. You're going through a hospital and you're fighting people in full-on body armor. And you have limited supplies, and it's, like, absolutely getting fucked by that, man. Like, even if you had all your stuff, it's really difficult. Like, I don't know, like, they're able to really gauge difficulty in a really cool way in a sense to where I was constantly finding myself in this situation of, like, fuck, there's this thing, I have so many, like, items and so many bullets and so many whatever. How do I get around this? The one thing I hate the most about the game, it's a small little thing, but, I hate bloaters so much. I really, like, there was this one bloater where I'm like, I'm in this situation where I just can't kill it. So eventually I was able to run away from it because I'm just like, fuck this. It gets a hold of me and just wrecks my shit all the time. But it's a challenging enemy type, though, so, I mean, I appreciate it. It's just, like, at a certain point, I'm like, this is the one type that I hate coming across every single time.
I would say, at the end of the day, for me, The Last of Us really thrived on its story, and the gameplay was kind of to me.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, sure.
And if The Last of Us had been a movie, or if The Last of Us had been a TV show, like a Netflix series, even an AMC series, I would have probably really enjoyed it. But I don't want to pay $60 to watch a game. And that's what I felt like I did with The Last of Us.
In a way, I do disagree with that in the sense of it's not like Heavy Rain. It's not like that where you're going through cutscenes and then doing a button prompt. You are still exploring through areas, and then you do get rewarded for, while it might not be always like the collectible stuff, if you explore, you sometimes get these optional dialogues with Ellie, which does lead to a lot of cool character building in a way to where it's not always like, hey, here's cutscene and character moment. Like, a lot of times it will happen through cutscenes, but I like that this is like one of the few games where you kind of got that little extra option where, hey, if you want to do this, great. If not, no big deal kind of thing. Like, sometimes it actually makes more sense for, like, there's a bit where Ellie's, like, more distant from Joel. Mm-hmm. And it kind of makes more sense due to the awkwardness for maybe you not to hit triangle and to talk to her because it's kind of fitting in more with the characters. But that's also my call to make.
Right.
I get to shape that portion of that character interaction. And I think that's something that, I don't know, for a lot of things it's hard to translate. And I think that element would be very hard to translate into a film in particular. Maybe a Netflix series could work in a different way, but I think actually that Last of Us functions really well as a video game for kind of that element in particular, its level of interactivity.
See, and I think that element is really cool if it actually had an impact on the game. It has an impact on your enjoyment of the game. Yeah, right, I agree. Mm-hmm. That's really cool. I get to learn something about Ellie. Mm-hmm. But me making that decision or not making that decision has absolutely zero outcome on how that game's going to end.
True, and I am fine with that. What it does help, though, is it helps to add more tissue onto the moment. So, like, for a fact that Joel and Ellie start off as more, like, they don't care about each other.
Right.
Like, Joel is like, I don't want to deal with this kid, because obviously my kid died. And Ellie's like, well, screw this person. I want to go with Joan, I think was her name. Lisa, Either way, it doesn't matter.
She died.
Yeah, she died.
Spoiler alert, she died.
R.I.P.
I laughed.
Anyway. So, we know that eventually, because storytelling mechanics, we know that they're going to eventually, at the very least, tolerate each other. In this way, it becomes more of like a father and daughter, again, sort of dynamic. And that stuff's going to happen regardless, but you can add on to it with those little extra modes. It can feel more organic with that mechanic.
Right.
So, yeah, it doesn't affect the story, but it definitely makes it feel... Well, actually, it makes it feel more organic in that sense. Even if the destination is ultimately the same.
Fair enough.
And they don't fool you into thinking that you get a choice. It's not like there's a take a left and this person lives right, this person dies. They don't fool you into that.
Right. Well,
there was one time where I thought it was going to happen. It was the sniper moment. Did you get to that?
Maybe?
There's one point where I thought it might do that. There were these there's the father and the son.
No, I didn't get to that.
Okay, well, there's a cool moment. You're a sniper. You have a sniper post and you're fending off a horde of zombies kind of thing. And there's a point where both, I forget the names. Either way, the father and the son are pinned by zombies, and you get to shoot the zombies off. And I was presuming, okay, well, the one I'm going to shoot off will not be infected, and the other one probably will. Like, I was thinking, like, maybe there is an element of choice that maybe if I shot the wrong person, the other person, maybe they're infected. Turns out that element, that was just my own head playing with me. It's the kid regardless. From what I've told, but like that was a moment where I was kind of thinking like, maybe if I shoot it off the kid, maybe the dad will get infected. That'd be interesting. But then that would drastically change the story in that instance. So I do understand that. But that's like probably the only moment where I fooled myself into thinking maybe I do have a choice into if the narrative can split.
Fair enough. At the end of the day, I don't think anything's going to convince me to load that game up and give it anything close to a third chance, fourth chance. Like, yeah,
Hey, some games aren't for everyone, dude. Not a problem.
Agree to disagree?
I absolutely agree to disagree.